So good.
She has cucuzzas.
Even better crunchy, and I gave them to my 3-year-old and he loved them.
And also more cucuzzas.
I can hang this on my arm and it is a good size. All right, this is a Cucuzza squash. I ended up with 7 of them and I already gave 2 of them away. The way you prep this is you peel the Cucuzza and you can either dice it, which makes really good stew, or you can slice it, which is really good sauteed on the stovetop. Let's see if I can peel it. Yes, this one peels easily. I'm going to freeze dry these. We have way too much. I've already given away 2, but I was waiting until my plants started producing a bunch, and now that we have 7, hopefully I'll be able to freeze dry those because it always produces quite a bit. All right. So that is about all I'm gonna do with that one. Look at the cool little spirals though. All right, so that's that. And now we're gonna chop it up. I'm going to slice the neck because it's skinnier, and then these bigger pieces I am going to chop. All right, so I have my Cucuzza here. I've got my freeze dry tray here. I'm going to do slices on one, diced on the other, just to make it easier to package. All right, so that is the end of my sliced. Probably gonna make it a more manageable size by cutting it in half. Look at that. Now you can leave these in here if you want, but I personally don't like them. They're super soft. At the end of the season, I will let the last 1 or 2 go to seed, which means I'll just leave them out there for a really long time. And then all these little seeds that are in here that are super soft will be really hard and ready to freeze dry and save for over the winter. Again, these seeds are safe to eat, so if you miss one, not a big deal.
Mommy, why are you cutting that?
I'm cutting it up so I can freeze dry it, so we can save it. Now this leaves a fairly thin shell, as you can see there, but it's still enough meat to save. Okay, these are perfect. Good enough. Some of them small, some of them big. Not a big deal. I'm gonna use this one. Hopefully that'll make them nice and uniform. Push it down on there.
Okay, I have that.
There we go. Look at all that. And I could keep going if I shook it down. Isn't that nice? So then I'm just gonna add that to my tray, and it doesn't have to be cleaned out because we're just gonna keep on adding to it. So that's all I'm gonna do through the whole process. Hopefully that'll give me 4 trays. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this section here. The sliced ones do not have any seeds in it. So you can see here, there's no seeds in it, so you don't have to worry about that on the neck of the squash. You only have to worry about that really on the bigger part of the squash where the seeds are. All right, so that is gonna be it for now. I will show you my trays when they're done. It has been a long summer and I've not been able to use my freeze dryer because it gets really hot in this room, and that kind of overheats the freeze dryer, makes it take a lot longer to process the food. So it is now cool enough that I can process my food. I've had a total of 9 Cucuzza. I gave away 2 and I had 7 recently. So I was only able to process 5. That's all that would fit on these trays. I still have 2 Cucuzza squash left over. Very cool plant, very disease resistant, bug resistant, and all that good stuff. So I am having a problem with aphids again, but it's still producing even with that. Of those 5, I ended up with 2 trays of sliced. These taste like cucumbers.
Can I show them it?
Yeah.
This is what they look like, but they don't have any seeds in them.
That is from the neck of the squash. There's no seeds in it. It tastes to me like super sweet cucumber. And this is a super thin one, and they are so sweet. They're so good. They're so good. They taste like cucumbers without seeds. I love them. So I did save a few of those for myself. The sliced ones without the seeds.
Them too.
And this is another tray of the sliced ones. I like to make these like I do with my zucchini, where you slice it and you add a little bit of garlic and butter and onions and like maybe 3 or 4 cherry tomatoes, and then saute them. It's so good. This is a little overstuffed. I think I made too much of these.
Can I have another one?
Yeah, you can have another
Have 2
first. And then this is the second tray, and if you can see, it's still, well, it's hard for me to hold it level to the camera, but it is a little overstuffed, so hopefully that'll process. If this is too much to process, I should be able to move that over to the sliced ones, because the sliced ones are still fairly level, so I'll be able to take the sliced ones off and add the chopped ones to the top and run the cycle again. As you can see, I have little ones, so this time I turned the vacuum machine sideways so that you could not turn the oil on, because I have had them turn the oil open and it's drained all out. Luckily there was nothing in the freeze dryer and I wasn't running a cycle, so hopefully that prevents that from happening again. We never eat a gallon of Cucuzza, so I are going to cut these in half, and then we're gonna just have 2 smaller packages of Cucuzza. All right, 7 is the way to go. So now I've got 2 smaller packages. There we go. That's a nice, clean, smooth line. That's better. Yeah, I'll do that on the rest of them. From fresh, so I peeled it. You saw peeled, cut, chopped, diced, sliced, whatever. And then I stuck it in the freeze dryer, and from start to finish, it was about 35 hours. But I've let it run for about 70 because it's taken that long for me to have to get over here with my family to package it. So now we'll see how it turned out. All right, last time I did this, I had the ceiling fan on and I had to reshoot because one of the things blew away. The Cucuzza were all the way to the top of the tray, a little bit going over, and now with all the water out of them, they're a lot smaller. They've shrunk a lot. You can see right here, it's all the way to the end here, but it did shrink a lot right here. And then of course it's a lot flatter than it was. You can see it's, you can already see where the edge. I did eat one of these. They're so good. They're even better crunchy, and I gave them to my 3-year-old and he loved them. So I have my oxygen absorbers, and I was planning on filling these up with the oxygen absorbers, so I went ahead and cut them in half. These are 1 gallon size. I think they're the 7 mil. I prefer the Harvest Right brand because it's a lot easier to write on the front. It makes it easy to see what I'm actually putting in there, but these are okay too. I'll put a link in the description for these bags. They're thicker. I cut them in half. I'm not sure if that makes it cheaper or not, but I don't want a full gallon size of Cucuzza squash because that'd be a ridiculous amount of food for our family to eat in one sitting. So we're gonna do these half gallon size. So I am packaging all of it in here. Let's see how much I can fit in there. And then I'll drop the oxygen absorbers in there and seal them all at once. I gotta make sure I don't overstuff these because I tend to do that. So I just wanna make sure that I can flatten it and fold it over just a little bit. Say like an inch, because that's where I'm gonna seal it. These ones that don't have any seeds in it are so good. They're crunchy like a cucumber. It's weird the texture they have now that they're freeze dried because they were super smooth earlier. So it looks like 1 tray makes about a gallon, or I guess 2 half gallons since I'm splitting it. Good. I'm just checking to make sure they actually break. If I break it in half, it should just snap. They're crunching. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but it definitely snapped. Could you hear it? That's the texture and the sound I'm going for. Try something new. Oh, I hope this works. Yeah, that's not working. Oh my gosh. This is really hard to do with the camera in my way. Oh my gosh, and the tray is stuck in there. Please fall out. It's like almost the exact size as the thing. Yes, it did work. Okay, hey, that worked. Mostly. Okay, that's good, that's good. Some of these have, I pulled out some seeds that seemed a little more hard, so some of them have little holes in it. But some of them I cut fairly thin. Oh, you can hear that breaking. See that? But I cut them so thin that I don't think it'll really matter. If there's a seed right there. But the seeds are super soft, so I don't think it'll really matter anyway. And since I only have 8 bags, I'm gonna get the jars that I have freeze dried in the past and then vacuum sealed. I think I have some ground beef under there. I can add to some bags. So I'll have 2 extra oxygen absorbers. They come in packs of 10. So I should have 2 extra oxygen absorbers after I finish these 8 bags. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some meat prep so I can do 10 bags total. So I don't have 2 extra oxygen absorbers to put in there. This one is from August 25th, 2022. It is now October 2023. And this has been vacuum sealed in here, but you notice it's still dry, super, super dry. This is root beer pulled pork. So we put some root beer in our Instant Pot with some pork tenderloin, and it turns out really good. It actually kind of makes it, you put some barbecue sauce on it and it makes it like barbecue pork sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches. But we have a bunch of it, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I can see here the color looks fine. When I open it, I'm just gonna make sure to do a quick sniff test, make sure it still smells good. But for this one, I'm doing the bag a little different. I'm just gonna kind of label it that freeze-dried, the date we freeze-dried it, and then jarred until, just in case there's ever anything wrong with my batches. I want to have really good notes, and what better place than to put it other than the package. Now, I also did something, and this is why it's very, very, very important to label your stuff. At some point, ground beef was on sale, and I did a bunch of batches. This is batch number 2 of 4, and you see here, no date. This is a date from when I used this jar prior. It's still fine, but there's no date. So I'm gonna have to check my log and see how old this is. I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones where I rinsed the oils off before I freeze dried it, but I have no idea. So the way I'm gonna have to label this one, since I have no date, is ground beef number 2 before 2023, because I have no idea when it was made. And then I'm gonna put packaged and then the date. So I'll probably write packaged and the date on the pulled pork as well. It smells like freeze-dried meat and still crumbles like it too. Nice and crunchy. The cool thing about these jars is you can just put the whole thing inside of it and dump it out that way. Keeps all the dust down below. This leaves a lot of room in there, but I don't have anything else to put in there. So the next step is going to be oxygen absorbers. This part is always the most stressful. This is the pink color that they're supposed to be. If they ever turn a dark purple or a darker color, you know that you've got bad ones. So don't use those because your food will go bad. Okay, so we've got, double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10. We've got 10 of these. I know these are big enough for the gallon size, so I'm sure they'll work for the half-gallon size. What I'm going to do is open it up and put one inside of each of these packages. They said you have about 10 minutes from the time that these are open. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go over here. I've already got this set up to 7. I'm going to do it at the very end, but get as much air out of there as I can without vacuum sealing it. Hold it until the light goes off. We're done. Out of an abundance of caution, and because some of these have little wrinkles in them, I'm going ahead and sealing them a second time, just to make sure. Is there such a thing as too sure? I don't think so. So on these, I am sealing. I sealed sort of maybe like half of an inch down, and then I'm sealing at the very end. Then if there looks like there's any gaps in either one of those, I'll just go ahead and do a third one in the middle. One of them I did a fourth one on. Kind of seal it across the whole top though. You did a video of me? We all done now?
Yep.
Okay.